Hello, hello everyone. Today I will present our study on language teacher preparedness to embrace plurilingual approach in multilingual classrooms in higher education. The higher education landscapes are changing, and universities are becoming increasingly multilingual and multicultural. And this poses challenges to educational communities because we need to ensure inclusive diversity. We need to serve as an example to the society that harmony is possible, and that we should include everyone, all stakeholders of the education. Researchers and life practice show that teachers need to develop a multilingual ethos in their classrooms, and this can be done through plurilingual approaches that value all languages and language varieties that the students possess. So this calls for the paradigm shift from monolingual to plurilingual and pluricultural language teaching. And our two studies that we're going to present today focus on two research questions. One is, are Lithuanian higher education language teachers familiar, and do they use plurilingual approaches in their teaching? And another one is very connected to that: if language teacher education programs provide adequate training that is necessary in this very important situation when we meet challenges of multilingual and multicultural settings. Our first study was based on the research during the European project adding plurilingual approaches to language teacher competences in higher education, Apache project. We designed a European-wide survey, Apache survey, and reached 450, received 450 responses, and the Lithuanian sample was 67 only, and that 67, but actually that was the largest sample, and it represented 17% of the whole participant population. These were higher education language, and not only language, other subject teachers that grew or work in Lithuania. And today I will present only one question: their teachers' familiarity with plurilingual approaches. The independent variables, work experience, working in another country experience, their degree, they proved to be very important, and the significant differences in teacher responses were found depending on these independent variables. Teachers' plurilingual profile, we asked many questions, but one of them was which languages were used in professional context in teaching. So those languages were different, as mainly in English and some Russian, that mainly of the subject teachers and not language teachers. And the other teachers, they taught different languages, so their linguistic profile was different. Now, the first issue that we were concerned with was teacher familiarity with plurilingual approach. How familiar, what knowledge they have about plurilingual approaches, if they are aware of them. And here the teachers' answers show that they are familiar with plurilingual approaches, but not much. For example, the statement using more than one language in the foreign language classroom improves proficiency in all languages involved was about 30% of teachers completely agreed that if they use more than one language in the foreign language classroom, all languages are also improved. However, only 15% of teachers completely agreed with the statement that teaching foreign languages should be done by including all languages present in the classroom. So even if 30% of teachers believe that language is positive, it's good when you teach languages and you involve other languages, you improve proficiency in those languages, but only 15 of them agree that teaching foreign language should be done by including all languages present in the classroom, which is the main idea of plurilingual approach. And the majority of teachers of the responses show that teachers feel the need to increase their awareness of about plurilingual skills. Over about 50% completely agreed with this statement, and over 80% slightly agreed with this. Another 40% slightly agreed with that. And then we wanted to see if teachers use any plurilingual strategies, and we see that when I'm teaching, I compare languages. That statement was agreed by almost 60% of teachers. Teachers compare languages, which is good when they are teaching, and they also agree that the students should learn how to switch between languages when appropriate. More than half of the teachers of the respondents agreed with that, and about 35% said that my teaching involves more than one language at a time. That means they allow using other languages. The teachers' need to develop plurilingual skills was mostly expressed. More than half of the teachers said they completely agreed that they should take training to improve their own plurilingual skills, and over 40% said that they should take training to how to develop plurilingual skills of my students. But taking into account those who slightly agree with that, we see that teachers really admit the need to develop their plurilingual skills. So in conclusion, we can say that teachers understand the importance of development of plurilingual competences, and their awareness of plurilingual approaches, it varies depending on their work experience, their international mobility experience, and educational degree. Teachers' use of plurilingual practices also differs, and it depends on their background, educational background, and their work experience. Teachers admit the necessity to develop their plurilingual teaching competence and skills necessary to meet the demands of multilingual classrooms. So that was what we found in our study. And for the purposes of this symposium, we wanted to see if the prospective teachers in initial teacher education and continuous professional development, if these teachers receive adequate education to apply plurilingual approaches in their teaching, if they are trained, if they are supported, encouraged, or willing to include plurilingual approaches in their teaching. For this, we analyzed 31 programs at 2 universities, the main language teaching centers, all in all 1,090 course titles and some course descriptions. By preparedness, we meant our operational definition was that prospective teachers are offered courses in didactics, in teaching methodology, and courses in the use of plurilingual approaches. That is, any word that was mentioned about a creation of multilingual, multicultural spaces or multilingualism was counted as positive, as the teachers are being prepared. And so we analyzed the bachelor, the first cycle, and the second cycle master programs in philology, then the programs in initial teacher education, and in continuous professional development. In terms of those 2 areas, if there were courses in subject didactics, pedagogical practice, anything related with pedagogy, and with plurilingualism or multilingualism. Now, the results show that teachers do not achieve adequate preparation in multilingual or in how to approach multilingual, the problems caused by multilingualism, or how to prepare students for plurilingual, how to prepare teachers for plurilingual in competence development of their students. In one university, we analyzed 21 programs which are related with language studies. So they are of initial teacher education, which prepares subject pedagogy teachers, teachers of French, teachers of German. So they have all these programs, have one compulsory course in pedagogy, and then they have 3 pedagogical practices. So considering that one course is enough for students to have pedagogical practices. And some of these programs, they have English language didactics, French language didactics, and German language didactics as compulsory. The program in philology, which the graduates of philology programs usually teach at schools, they do not have any courses in didactics, but they have professional internship. That means the university relies on the schools where the students take practice to teach them how to teach languages. And because they do not provide any other courses in didactics. In the philology program, we found one optional course, culture and multilingualism in one program, and another multilingual Vilnius literature. That means that university has nothing to do with teacher preparation for multilingualism. Maybe inside the course description, there is one or another topic on that, but we could not have access to these programs. In another university, which is again the Teacher Education Center, and here we studied 10 programs and 620 courses. So we found more courses for didactics, but again, it was the subject English as English language didactics, German language didactics. So we can see that the monolingual approach is used to prepare teachers for teaching. And at this university, we found some courses which were compulsory in multilingualism and multiculturalism for continuous professional development courses, and some compulsory A group courses for foreign languages, to learn foreign languages. That is the requirement in those programs of initial teacher training, that teachers have to have the competencies in English and plus another language. And there was a course in intercultural communication and multilingualism. Then in the BA philology program, we found 2 methodology courses. In one, we found topics on linguistically sensitive teaching and plurilingual approach. And then one topic in Introduction to Social Linguistics, which was bilingualism and multilingualism. In master programs, there is one course, Plurilingual Approach in Language Education, which was started only being taught in September. And there is language teaching in multicultural setting in modern linguistics course. So the conclusion can be, summing up, we can say that Lithuanian language teachers are not sufficiently prepared to work in multilingual classrooms, because in philology programs, there is no didactics, although pedagogical internship is mandatory, no attention to plurilingualism. In initial teacher development and continuous professional development, the focus is on didactics, on subject didactics, but monolingual language didactics. In master courses, there is some focus, some attention to plurilingualism and multilingualism through the related courses, but no focus on didactics. And in language and culture courses, no courses in didactics, although pedagogical internship is mandatory, and no attention to plurilingualism and multilingualism. So the conclusion is that prospective teachers are insufficiently prepared to meet the challenges of multilingual, multicultural classrooms. Pedagogical approaches are underrepresented in teacher education curricula. Monolingual language didactics prevail, and there is lack of focus on the development of multilingual competence and the use of plurilingual approaches in language teacher preparation. So the general conclusion can be made that multilingual challenges call for reconceptualization of language teacher education. And when I prepared this presentation, I was asked also to participate in one initiative organized in one conference just a few days ago, which was empowering education, development of inclusive environment in general education. where the British Council and of Lithuania and the Vytautas Magnus University created held a conference with focus group discussions that lasted for 3 hours, and the discussions were among the teachers of secondary education, principals, administration of secondary education, ministers, representative of Ministry of Education, because now we are in the process of we are waiting for elections. The new government will be chosen. So the Vytautas Magnus University, together with British Council, they had this initiative to listen to the voices of teachers who face problems in multilingual and multicultural education, who have to integrate the immigrants coming from different parts of the world. And the idea was to listen to focus group discussions, organize those discussions, and then on the basis of the teachers' ideas to create recommendations for new Ministry of Education. And the challenges that were expressed, they are really the same as we discussed in higher education. General education schools are becoming multilingual, but teachers lack preparation how to meet those challenges. They lack proper budget to implement individualized teaching, and they lack budget to provide scaffolding to incoming students. So what solutions can be suggested? The new Ministry of Education regulations for schools, new understanding of the word inclusion, because the concept of inclusion means, up to now, it mainly means inclusion in social area, but not in language inclusion and culture inclusion. Schools have to cooperate and share their experience. Teachers are creative, enthusiastic, and the Erasmus program, mobility programs help a lot here, and the ECML materials of European, what is that, Center of Modern Languages, and the teacher individual competence participation in different webinars, seminars, conferences. These are the sources, together with the teacher creativity and enthusiasm, that we rely on right now. But some more official, more governmental measures should be also in place. And that's what we hope for, and that's what we need. So this was my presentation, and I want you I want to thank for listening.
Yes.
And
thank you.